Welcome to Suddenly Different, where we explore stories and strategies for life when it doesn't go to plan. I'm Leigh-Anne Sharland, inviting you to join me on this journey. Some suddenly different moments arrive like an earthquake, and others arrive quietly. Not because life explodes, but because something inside finally clicks. Today's conversation is for the people who have spent years adapting, being capable, being articulate, being helpful, and quietly exhausted. My guest today is Karen Foote, a psychologist, author, communicator, and someone who understands what it means to move across cultures, systems, and expectations while staying deeply human. Together, we explore psychological and behavioural profiling tools, human design, DISC, EDISC, CliftonStrengths, even astrology. Who knows where we'll go? Not as answers, not as identities, but as mirrors. This is a conversation about what happens when self-knowing or self-knowledge doesn't tell you who to become, but gives you permission to stop performing who you're not. Welcome to Suddenly Different, Karen.
Thank you for having me, Leigh-Anne. Wow, what a introduction. I love it. I think I'm going to steal that. From now on, that's exactly what I want people to introduce me as.
Yeah.
Like a communicator and cross culture. That is so accurate. How can someone know me so well, though, that you write my bio so beautifully? Thank you.
Well, when we first met, I think it was when you wore your long tulle tutu to a gala evening and was there with it wasn't like wanting to stand out and show off. It was actually just to be who you are.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I have had different times in my life where I've been uncomfortable with who I am. If I'm brutally honest, I've sort of adjusted myself to fit in.
Yeah. So to that though, I must say, to be honest, there's a downside, which is why we have conversations like that. There is a downside to being who you are. I got told many times this is not how you behave, even down to my most recent experience. I have to tone down because I don't fit in. I'm too much. Literally, I was told, and you're just a bit much. You just tone down a little bit to fit into the rest of the world. I'm like, then why have me?
Yeah, I've had that. I got that as feedback in a one-on-one conversation at work. I just got told I was a bit much.
Yeah.
But not a bit much what? Just a bit much.
Yeah. I'm not particularly loud because there's someone else in the office who is really loud. I'm not loud. I'm not in your face. I just am, but yet that is too much. I just am though.
Yeah. And it's really interesting. I wonder with our listeners whether any of them have either felt that somebody else is too much for them and looked at how they're feeling and what's triggering inside them, or whether they've had what we've had, has been told that they're too much.
Yeah. So this is one of the reasons why many people cannot be true to who they are because they constantly get told that you're too much. Lucky for me, my mom didn't raise me that way. She's like, you know what? You just be you. You're just made. She's religious. So she's Methodist, and then she's like, God created you this way. So you just be. I'm like, okay. So in my informative years, I don't have many outside influence because she was very sick. So I don't have a lot of time to play with friends. That's the good part. I didn't get a lot of external influence but her. And then I got married. I moved to Australia. My mother-in-law told me, you're Asian. Aren't you supposed to be quiet and submissive? You talk back a lot, don't you? I didn't talk back. I was just voicing my opinion. That was a wrong opinion. I was telling you, I was just correcting something factual.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, she was talking about Chinese culture. I'm like, actually, no. She said, oh, so you talk back? Aren't you not supposed to talk back? I'm like, no.
No. And I'm trying to think of the people I've met in maybe initially they're quiet, But once you get to know them,
Mm.
they are knowledgeable, have opinions, and actually quite centered in themselves. Could that be a cultural thing? Is that the Asians are more
Yeah. Yes.
centered?
We are actually very collective. We're more collective than individual because for the greater good we just don't. And of course, there is a old structure and like a stigma. I'll use the word stigma rather than a social structure because we are expected to behave a certain way. Why are we quiet in the past? Because we don't speak English. There
Yes.
is a language difference. That's why when you meet an Asian person who doesn't talk, oh, that trust me, Asians are one of the worst. They'll just say it to you. So the only reason why they're quiet is because either they don't have the words or they don't have the language. That's all.
Yeah.
Not because we're quiet.
Yeah. 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 Because when you go to a market where there's a lot of Asians around,
Mm.
it's not quiet. It's very, very noisy. So
No, no.
yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking about the cultural difference, you've had, as many Australians have, you've had that move from another country. So you've moved from Singapore to Australia. Did that shift from one culture to another shift how you saw yourself, or how you saw fitting in?
I didn't think so, but my friends told me, oh, it made sense. It made sense that you married a Caucasian because you're outspoken, you're out there. I'm like, okay. I'm not saying my home country rejected me. I'm not saying that because more and more I'm meeting people from Singapore who think like me. It's just that our paths didn't cross at that point in time because everything is about timing. So the timing was wrong. We never met, and now we're meeting. I also had the impression that in a Western country like this, it would be more acceptable to be outspoken. But again, once again, because I'm Asian, they expect me not to be. I guess one of the biggest struggle a lot of people have is the people around you because they reflect who we are back to us. So if
Yes.
they keep telling you you're not meant to be like this, you're not that, over the years you will get influenced. Because I used to have so much friction with my in-laws that my husband actually said it's just not worth it. Just say yes. Just say yes to just get this dinner over and done with. So I did it. So I used to pregame. So for listeners who don't understand what pregame means, it's a term young people use. You drink before you go out. For them,
Right.
it's cut costs. So you pregame. You have a few drinks, and then you go out and you have a good time without having to spend too much money. I pregame before going to family dinners because then either it will relax me, so I'll just don't care, or actually it will have the opposite effect. I'll be like, all right, I'm good to go now. Let's go. You want to go? Let's go.
Yeah. And then, you have, of course, different judgments that come from that.
Yeah.
And yeah, can go one of many ways. One of
Yes,
many ways.
indeed.
But it takes effort. It takes planning, right?
Mm, mm,
And when you're met with an expectation of how you should be
mm.
based on the way you look, the
Yeah.
way, right? The accent with which you speak.
Yes. Which is why today's topic it is so important because we're constantly looking for validation of who we are. We're trying to discover who we actually are. Is what we're doing right? We're so fixated on this state of mind. Am I doing it right? How about there is no right but good? How does this make me feel? Do I feel good doing it?
Well, and even what does good feel like,
That's right.
right?
That's
Right?
right. We don't even know. It's
No.
keeping things for someone else feel good.
Yeah.
Like we say yes to them, but we feel bad. Is that good still? So that is such a gray area that even with my children, it is so hard to navigate because you know, they tell me you sometimes you confuse me because I just do the right thing, just do the right thing for you. But yet they see me do things that I don't want to do. Then I say to them, some things you have to do because it's the right thing to do. So that is such a fine line to to navigate. the right thing versus the good thing. Yeah, that has to be another topic for another time.
I think so because trends change. I don't
Mm.
know whether you've seen that this week a new food pyramid, a new recommended food pyramid
I
has
saw
come
that.
out, which is upside down.
I saw that.
All right. So finally it's not being sponsored by Kellogg's. And, like it actually has some
Merit in it.
scientific proof
Yeah, there's
to
some
it.
merit in it. Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, which
Yeah.
is really, really, really interesting. And again, another whole conversation to have. But just because it's right and good right now
Mm,
doesn't mean society will always say it's right and good.
that's right.
And so that is where we have to build our own barometer, thermometer, whatever inside the measuring gauge is for what is good, what is our ethics, what is our
Correct.
beliefs about what's good.
Correct. I totally agree. Another thing I want to just put out there is that we evolve. The whole entire world, this is an evolution. Everything is changing. Things are constantly changing. You are allowed to evolve. The version of you now can change tomorrow. That doesn't mean you're fickle. That doesn't mean you don't know. It means you have the courage to evolve. So I just want to put it out there because once you know who you think you are, it still changes because you have to be fluid with the rest of the world within yourself because your lifespan changes. When you go into different stages in life, you change because what you can do change, your responsibilities change. So it just makes sense that you evolve with the times. Just
Yeah,
putting it up there.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I know that you a bit of an influencer now, and I see your posts on social media, and I think it's a really interesting pivot or
Hobby.
yeah, well, it's just an interesting thing. So to go from clinical psychology
Mm,
to influencing the public,
uh-huh,
so like dealing with some real like some deeply personal issues and troubled teenagers and broader community problems
uh-huh.
to influencing them to be their
You
best
go to
self.
whatever restaurant.
Well, that's right, but like I mean there was a dog bed this week. I saw that.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, but really, like, I mean, as an influencer, I know at the moment in 2025, the influencer behaves in a certain way and does certain things to be an influencer. But aren't we all influencers every day in our life?
When you walk past someone who's picked up, like in the supermarket, and they're looking for something, I'm often that busybody Asian, middle-aged Asian woman. I'm that Karen. I see someone confused in an Asian shop or an Asian aisle. I'm like, how can I help you? What are you looking for? Oh, this is the best brand. Without knowing who I am, without knowing who she is or he is, I've influenced their buying habits. I merit that I know what is good in this in this space. I know. So if I may just give you a little context of why did I go down that track. Even when I was a psychologist in Singapore, my methodology was unheard of. So the school loved it because I used to work with children with behavioral issues and we use horses. So it's equine therapy. And I don't go by the book. I go what I feel is right, what they need. So essentially, it is just parenting and positive parenting. That is what I used. And then when I turned 50, I realized that there is nothing to lose. That was when my son also gave me the idea. You like cooking, you like food. Why do you not do a food blog? I'm like, okay, let's do it. With age comes a lot of courage because you also realize you're running out of time. That whatever knowledge you can share, you better do it now. And if it can benefit others, why not? So with that in mind, that was how I started doing it. Was that a lot of challenge? Yes, because I don't do also what the mainstream influencers do. They do aesthetic videos. It's very pretty. They are very pretty. They do cute faces. I'm too old to act cute. That will not be cute. So I decided, and what value does it bring except it's nice to look at? So this is not a dig at those aesthetic videos. They are hard to make. It takes time and effort. I know people who do that. I have a lot of respect for that. I know I don't have that skill set. The only thing I have is me, and I want to add value. So on my Instagram page, what you find is reviews on things, honest reviews on whatever products come my way. Yeah, that's how I started doing it. And it's fun. Fun, which we will talk about very shortly.
Yeah, well, and that is, fun is so important, and it is a big topic, so we will talk about that shortly. So, equine therapy. I have actually a friend the other side of the city who I did a 2-day course with my husband. We did with equine therapy, and I would have thought that I was together and that he was messed up. So, which one do you think of us walked with the reins just over their shoulder, calmly, and the horse just went with them, walked exactly where they needed to go? And which one of them had the horses and the donkey and the ponies all running around in a circle, crazily sort of creating a mini tornado?
I must also say, though, that doesn't mean you're not put together. I already know where this is going, but it is daunting to be in a space with an animal so big, which is why it is so effective.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so my husband had this amazing experience where the horse was just with him. It,
Yeah.
just so with him, and they formed a very close bond. Whereas with me, the animals just decided that I was a bit scattered, I think, and
I think
and
they can't read your inner state, like
yeah,
how should I say? They can read your energy, how you
yeah,
feel when you walk in, when
yeah.
you get scared, because there is one particular horse. He knows I'm scared of him, and he knows. He'll run up to me before a session, right up to my face, and then rear up. And he's like, "Come on, I dare you to come in today." He is bad. He's very naughty. They reflect your current state of mind. That is the beauty of them. Yeah.
And it was beautiful. I really did learn a lot, and I have, because it was such a impactful experience, I remember it, right?
Mm, mm.
Whereas there might be other workshops or other conferences that may have told me exactly the same thing, but it doesn't have the experience with
The
it.
impact. Yeah, that's
And
right.
so, but if anyone gets an opportunity to work with horses in personal development, I recommend it.
I know. So it's about emotional regulation. That's what I taught the children.
Yeah. Yeah.
You teach you, we teach you to, because as young kids, if you don't have a role model, nobody's showing you how to emotionally regulate. And that's such an important piece of life skill. You don't just blow up because you can. Of course, I do a lot of things. And when people ask me, why do you do that? I'm like, because I can. Yeah, but the emotional regulation piece,
Yeah.
it's an adulting piece.
Yeah.
And it's a very important life skill. That's what the horses teach you.
Yeah. And I think the more that we are able to emotionally regulate in our younger years, the
Mm,
more automatic that is, the greater capacity we have to be able to make decisions when we're under stress.
correct.
And then we're able to have a different trajectory than going down mental illness path,
That's right.
because it all starts with that feeling in the body and that emotional regulation.
It does. It really does. It's such an important piece. I hope you take time also in one of your episodes to talk about that, because without it, we lose control, and we lose battles and wars because of that. We get emotionally entangled instead of taking ourselves out of this emotional turmoil to look at what actually needs to be done. We jump in, and then we are rolling in this mud of emotional mess, and then everything gets messy and nothing gets done.
That's right. And if we haven't learnt it, I hope I hope in some ways with the different styles of teaching that they have today, I hope our kids learn more about that.
Maybe you and I should go and start a
Yeah.
course and selling it to the schools.
Yeah. Sounds
Yeah.
good. So, let's talk about adaptation versus alignment, right?
Mhm.
So it's what you live rather than what you teach.
Yep.
So many high functioning people are living in an adapted mode
Correct.
without realizing it. They think
Correct.
that's who they are.
That's right.
They think they're being authentic,
Mhm. Mhm.
but in some ways they're being messy, and in other ways they're being the feeling of being a fraud is actually not that wrong,
Correct.
right? So if you're feeling that imposter syndrome, it could be because you're adapted.
Yeah. So once again, Leigh-Anne has already said that we're not here to sell you what test to do or
Mm-mm.
whatever. But so what she's talking about, the EDISC does that. It is a study of your behavior. Is it in alignment to who you truly are in your natural state? This is how you should be behaving, or you have adapted, and this is now your business state.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
So the key, so there's a psychological theory about congruence. So what does congruence means? Congruence means that your true self, real self, and ideal self, this trio has come together and they merge as one. Yeah. So a quick explanation: your ideal self is in your ideal world who you like to be. Your true self is who you really are. Your real self is the real time self. In real time, this is who you are. So our job in this lifetime is to make sure that these trios converge and become one. Then there is no confusion. There is no, "Oh, actually, I'm like, no, you're not. You are dead set clear about who you are." And with that in mind, you are able to move forward with intention and purpose.
Yes, yes. And purpose is another one of those factors that when we truly have purpose and that
Mm,
purpose is aligned with
mm,
our true self, we have less of those questionable moments where mental illness can creep in and stress can overpower ourselves
correct.
from the truth of who we are. So,
Correct.
when we spoke in our preparation chat, like we discovered by accident that we, had both got so much clarity and confirmation out of a thing called human design. So
Yes.
I wonder, like, can you take us through like the accidental occurrence or the planned occurrence of when you came across human design and what you found about it that's really helped you?
I must have come across human design more than 10 years ago. My first experience of human design, my girlfriend was really into it. She's like, "Oh my God, you have to do it." I'm like, okay, whatever. So I did it, but I didn't take too much notice of it. Once again, timing is important. Then I met someone. Over COVID, I started a business group. I'm not a business guru. In branding and marketing, it's all about being creative. It's about thinking out of the box. So someone who has not done traditional marketing or branding training, we are not confined by marketing. You must do it this way. Branding, we're not confined by that. We are open to possibilities. So I ran that group for actually 3 years. In that group, I met a young man who dabbles in human design. And so he's like, "Oh, I don't have money to pay you. Is it okay if we do an exchange?" I'm like, "Sure." You know, you want to help, you help. I'm not going to push him out because he can't pay me. So I'm like, "Sure, let's just do that." Because I studied psychology because I was curious about what made people tick. And I was curious about why I am the way I am. Because I do things a certain way. I cannot explain why. So I thought, if I study psychology, I might find out. But traditional psychology didn't answer that question for me, except told me I'm narcissistic. I'm like, okay, if putting myself first in situation makes me narcissistic, so be it. So then I did human design with him. And then I discovered one of the biggest piece about myself is that I'm driven by fun. I never understood why I had to always look for jobs that has to be fun. It has to amuse me. My need to amuse myself was overwhelming. If it's not fun, if it's not funny, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
That set me free though. Then I realized, hey, I'm designed this way. So instead of fighting it, I leaned in, and because of that, thus the influencing came in. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was in flow. It was easy. Despite what people tell me, like you're doing this wrong. A lot of people have told me you're doing, and they tell me I'm too old to be an influencer. Aren't you too old to do that? A few people have told me that. And I thought, no, instead of getting swayed by their impression or what they think I should be doing, I thought, is this still fun for me? And my value system was about helping people. Is that still giving value to people? It ticked the two boxes. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
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 So that helped me a lot. Knowing
Yeah.
that.
And because, like, and sometimes it's, worthwhile knowing like what you're not like what elements of you are the way that you express your not self, right? So you're not a good self. So mine's frustration. So I
Mm,
can see how that plays out in my whole life.
yeah.
And and that frustration would have turned people off. It would have like magnetically thrown them across the room because it would have shown in my face. It didn't have to come out in my tone or anything. It just would have shown in my
You and me.
face.
You and
Yeah. So, it's sort of it's like, I mean, again, like you said, I'm not heavy into it. But I do find that all of these different things like numerology and astrology, like it's interesting stuff to understand who am I? How does my brain work? What do I behave like? What lights me up and
that
what turns me off?
that's right. That's right. So using it, so I've done a lot, trust me, a lot. And one of the first thing when you do psychology is that don't do self-help. They are not real. Look, it's discernment. You
Hmm.
need to know. So, and with more information you collect about yourself, then you become clearer and clearer. So do everything you can get your hands on. So
Oh,
I've converged everything, and I realized this then now they become like a checklist. When I meet someone or when I go into an environment, I can tell whether I'm in the right space or not. I meet someone, they exhibit kindness, done, happy to be your friend, because kindness is also one of my top values. I
yeah,
never knew that.
yeah,
Never knew why I dated this guy who would usually not be my type. And then until I found that out, I'm like, okay, that was why. The day he helped someone across the road, everyone, nobody was helping. He went up and he said, is it okay I help you? I'm like, I'm in. All right, let's go on a date.
yeah, yeah. But it is, and when you look at like things like CliftonStrengths and when you realize, well, like in the business world, my strengths are different to when I'm in my personal space, right? So when my thinking is in a different arena.
Of course.
I'm very strategic when it comes to business, but it's not one of my personal strengths in my personal life. I'm more connected.
Yes,
So, but I think that we access all of the different elements through the other elements anyway.
we do. We do. That's why it is, if you're not sure, so these are the things I do. Maybe that can help you. I go and do tests like that. If you can get someone who's, because human design is so vast, it is not funny. It is so vast. Get someone who knows how to do it for you, because then they can explain, and the good ones actually can help you explain how it fits into your life. Yeah, those the really good ones can do that. Do Clifton Strengths, do all of those, then use that as a guide, because it really, when someone say trust me, don't trust them. But in my opinion, that one helps. Or for a start, good friends who reflect who you are, they can also help you ask them, is this who I am? Because they can reflect back to you who you are.
because a lot of these different
Yes.
tests, they're really showing you both sides of the coin. So there's always that good bit, and then there's the underbelly side, right?
Yes. Yes.
So when you find out, you might be driven, absolutely driven to execute a certain project, right? The one who gets it to the finish line. But on the way there, you may lose contact with reality and
Mm.
become a little bit obsessed to the point that you appear like a Napoleon type dictator,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
And so it is useful to know that I have both parts and I have to watch out for that
Mm.
Napoleon behavior because I don't really want to go there.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Yes, for sure. Because mine is patience. I don't have patience. I'm like, let's go. Let's go now.
Yes, well, and but again, it's like, okay, so what do I need to do to manage my patients, right? Okay, so I breathe, or
Yes.
or I don't start getting ready till later because then I won't be ready until they're ready.
Correct. Correct.
So yeah, so it is, and the other thing is over functioning strengths. So when you can take your good side, such an extreme that it is too much,
Mm.
and it hurts yourself. It depletes your energy, and like I was over caring.
Oh my goodness, me.
Yes, I know, imagine. So I would exhaust myself because I would be trying to nurture and protect.
That's right. Yeah. So my biggest lesson lately is emotional regulation
Yeah,
because my care a lot about my connections. So like you, I'm a connector, and my sense of justice is also one of my top strengths. The sense of justice. I just will not. But then I realize sometimes we gotta allow people to grow. Stepping in, I've always advocated for that for my kids as well. As much as I can, not intervene so that they can grow. It applies to the people we care about at work or, in our personal lives as well. So I've learned that I don't give advice until they ask for it. It's not that I don't care. I tell them, if you need me, you know where to find me. I hope that's clear enough a message. And I got to learn to emotionally regulate because it's not my fight. I can't take this on because it's not my fight. It's not fair to take this growing opportunity from them.
that they are wise words, because as parents, it is really hard to be the futurist and see the trajectory that they're going on
Correct.
and know that there is a train wreck at the end of that.
Yeah.
Like we just want to, put them in that cotton wool and,
And the
like,
capsule,
yeah, keep them really, really
and then put them
safe.
into another world.
But they have to learn, because we all learn from our mistakes and from misalignments and
Mm,
from the conflict.
that's right. And the other thing is this too, though. This is their life, though. The path may not be the same. It may not turn out the same way that ours turn out. So there might be something that is good. It looks bad at the beginning, but maybe there's something good. We can't predict the future. That is the key, though. When parents try so hard to protect their children, they don't realize that we think we have hindsight. Yes, we do, because that's happened to us before. But the circumstances are different. They are different people. They will handle it differently. And times have also changed. The way people think have also changed. So we can't then predict this future. Our job is not to prevent it. Our job is to be there when they need us. And that is in every part of our life.
Really important. The thing is, times have changed, and just because we've experienced it one way does not make it that it will happen the same way again.
That's right. That's
And
right. Things have changed.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
See?
because oftentimes, especially when we've been through traumatic or really uncomfortable situations, we will completely like close that door.
Correct. Correct. Things people will never know. I have changed. I mean, when I'm allowed to talk about it, you'll be the first one I come to drop it in a podcast. I've gone through something very traumatic with my husband. And if I were to be traditional in the way I think, we would have never survived it. But I wasn't because I have grown and
Yeah.
times have changed.
Yeah.
And because I know myself so well, I chose us despite what there was a lot of resistance. But see, in the traditional way, if it was someone else, if it was the old me, it would be a different thing. People grow, and because of this growth, I'm who I am today.
And isn't that is so, so important is to um, allow yourself to have grown, right?
Correct.
Because I don't know, especially those of us, well, me, I'm in my sixth decade, well, seventh decade. I don't know how it works. Anyway, I'm over
You're not
60.
70, you're 60, right?
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God, you look
yeah.
so good. Wow. Yes.
But so looking at that, I've been through a lot of things have changed in my life. We didn't have computers when I
That's
was a
right.
kid,
That's
right?
right.
And now everything is computerized. You actually don't know if you're a robot or not.
I know. I know. I never thought in my lifetime touch screen would be a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never.
Never. No, no. Well, I used to watch the Jetsons and, see them having their dog on a treadmill. And
Yeah.
I'm sure people do that.
Yes, yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do. They do.
So coming back to being almost fully aligned,
Mhm.
um, what happens when someone discovers that through confirming themselves, getting to know themselves, that they are actually living their life,
Mm.
right? There's nothing to fix. There's there's nothing broken. They they can see they have choices in the world, and they want to make a difference. What like chemically, what happens to those people? Do they like, is there like, how there's cortisol and the dopamine and
Mm,
the,
mm.
all of those things? Does that sort of like just combine beautifully?
Okay, so before I answer that, allow me to share my
Yeah.
experience and my
Yeah.
husband's experience. He wants nothing to do with this world. There's not a judgment on him. He's like, you can save the world. You can do all the world saving for all of us, but I'm happy in my space. This is what I want. That is important to note because we don't need, if everybody's out there saving everyone, then who is doing the living?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're saving this world so that people can live in it, right? So we don't, you don't have to have this pivotal moment like this, a huge moment that says, wow, now I'm going to go and find a cure. Now I'm going to do this. No, you don't have to. But with this peace that you find within yourself, then the friction and the generational trauma can be reduced because then you are no longer nitpicking, you are no longer unhappy, you're no longer finding things to be unhappy about. Then you start to seek peace. And that is the biggest peace you can bring to everyone in your space. Now, when you find, how did it feel for me when I got confirmation that, oh, wow, I'm actually designed like that? It was the release. You feel like, okay, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm actually made to be like that. And with that in mind, it can then guide you in whichever direction you want to be. Then it gives you a checklist. It's like a shopping list. When you go shopping, you're buying things, you're checking it off. When you get put in a situation that you're unsure of, you didn't choose the situation, you got put into it, and it's challenging you, then that checklist can come out and say, is this in alignment with my values? Is this in alignment with who I am? If not, what am I here to learn? Do I stay? Does staying make me feel good? Am I in the right space? Or is it okay for me to step out because it doesn't serve me?
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
does for me.
Yeah, yeah. I just feel that there's this peace feeling, and um and not that sort of electric pull of push through, right? Like, so it's kind of like flow through.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in flow, and so then that doesn't mean that I don't come across rocks under the water.
No,
That
no, that
right?
you
It
still
Yeah,
have moments where you have to, it's like some, yeah, you will, in fact, you will feel, you'll get more challenged
yeah,
because the
yeah,
world challenges you. Are you sure this is who
yeah,
you are?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Because you're not playing with their rules anymore. You're not playing, yeah, you're playing
Mm,
with your own rules now. You are now applying your rules and say, no,
no,
that's not my terms of engagement. I'm out. And people don't like that. But times are changing. That's why
yes,
there's so much turmoil because people are pushing back. This is no longer okay. We no longer stand for this.
yeah. I had a great teacher, Michael Grinder, who's from the States. His brother was part of introduction of NLP, but Michael was really instrumental in helping me with perspective, right? He would say multiple different perspectives to a situation before you assess it. And by the time that you've gone to that third different perspective, the likelihood is you'll be able to see, remove the angst and whatever from the situation, especially if one of your rules is I look at it through fun, or I imagine whatever, but just looking at different perspectives, because we judge somebody's behavior based on a similar behavior, facial features, expression
Yeah,
of somebody else in the past,
true.
right? So if we could give ourselves the gift of going, so my initial meaning of that is X. Now, what about if I looked at it through eyes of somebody who's just been on a beautiful long walk down the beach and had the cool water lapping over my feet? Now, let me look at that situation. How do I feel about it now? What does it mean now? And
Yeah.
then looking at it, and now I've just been to a rock concert and, seen Elton John or whatever. I've seen somebody amazing perform and I've danced and sung and whatever. And now I look at that. How do I feel about it now? So
Mm,
that you can see the impermanence of perception,
wow.
because it is, and then you can let go of that stuck feeling.
Yes, yes. I love that. I do, because you take yourself into your happy place, into your various happy place,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you come back in and see how you feel. I might be intoxicated though by the time I come back.
Well, that's right. That's right. But again, it's the lesson that I learned from that was, to apply to myself, really, if
Yes.
especially when I'm in the I can't,
Mm,
or, the evaluation of what I did and thinking, you know, I'm not good enough, or whatever it is that I'm thinking. I go, hold on a second. Right. Just let's just hold that. And then, all right, it's
that I'm
it's
gonna steal
different.
that.
Yeah, I'll go for it. Go for it. It's Michael Grinder.
I like it. I like it a lot because as you started talking, I'm like, oh, there's too many. That's why the patience piece is I don't have. So if anyone listening knows about EDs, I've got no S and no C, no conscientiousness and everything. I'm a DI, high DI. So I've got no. I cannot. If you tell me she said multiple, I'm out. I could see myself getting up and going like I'm like, no, no multiple time, just one time.
Yeah,
Do it one time and do it right.
yeah, yeah. Well, but exactly, exactly. And with expression, I can see you as a DI. Yes,
Right?
I,
Yeah,
I
really though. I'm like, no, no. My mind was fighting. I'm like, no, stop and
stop.
listen,
Yeah,
stop it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's for good cause
It
having
is.
3, yes.
It is, it is, it is, which is
Yeah,
why that's why we have this conversation today,
yeah.
because this is to show you that when you know yourself, you know your flaws. I know I've got zero attention to detail, but when it needs to be, I have to hold myself in place, and there is merit in this, just stay. And I did. And I
You
learned
did!
something. Oh, great. I love it.
My goodness, that's so good. Excellent. So has there been a time for you, this is a bit personal, but has there been a time for you where you knew something about yourself intellectually,
Mm,
but you didn't live it until much later in life?
wow. Okay. Explain for me intellectually, though.
So it's like it's something that you thought in your head, but you didn't truly feel in your heart, right? So it was something about the way you are, like that you sort of kept contained a little bit, and then you or did yeah, and then did you, like, through any of these sort of profiles, a little window was opened on something, and then you went, "Oh, I get it.
Yes.
I can just be with
Yes,
that."
yes, yes, there was. I know it's hard to explain, hard to accept that I am actually very shy. Okay, so I am actually not, yeah, Leanne's got that look, yes. So when I think it must be like at least 8 years ago, I have a good friend. She'll bring me to her networking things because she's, oh my God, people would love to meet you, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll go. But I'm so unsure of who I am because they are highly intelligent. They are like, and they're purposeful. So the question they will ask you when you meet them is that, so what change are you going to bring? I'm like, I don't know, because I don't know. And saying I don't know is not acceptable because then they will drill down. Let's deep dive. No, no, I don't want to deep dive. Actually, I don't like going into the water. I'm a good swimmer. I just don't want to go into the water. So until I realized that part of my profile, I'm actually a connector. Being a connector doesn't mean you have to be anything. Being a connector means you're curious about people. That's all. It's as simple as that. And knowing that I don't have to prove myself to anyone, which is why I'm so good with people when I don't have to prove myself. A lot of people don't know what I do, or I've written books because I don't talk about it. Why? Because it's not about me. It's about you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so important when you meet somebody. I'm always curious about them. I
Yeah.
always failed the, "So what do you do?"
Me too.
All right. So, well, my identity isn't based on what I do,
That's right.
right? It used to be, but it isn't anymore. So it's like, well, so I am a grandmother and a parent and, a wife and passionate about life, and I'm those things. What I do is sort of irrelevant to who I am.
That's right. It's inconsequential because it's just a means to an end, what I do. So I totally, yeah, so that was the part that I struggled with until I found out that, oh yeah, actually, okay, actually my strength is a connector, and I cannot live up to that potential if I'm so scared when someone asks me, what do you do, what change are you going to make? I said, these days I just say, I don't know. When the change opportunity comes, I'll lean in, I'll do what I can, but in the meantime, I don't have this big plan. I'm not like Donald Trump. I'm going to go to a country and steal their president. Whether or not it's a good move, it's not my call. I don't do politics, but I'm not that type. Anyway, we fail to realize that in every small change, maybe this is age talking, that something as simple as this podcast, if it reaches one person and that one person gets wisdom out of this and could apply it to their lives, that has a ripple effect. We don't see that. We keep thinking we have to be on a big stage. We have to talk to a multitude of people to make a difference. We don't. This intimacy is what creates change.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. You don't remember, like our memories so quickly. We
Yeah.
forget what we've learned, and I mean it's human nature. We can't possibly keep it all, but if we can continue to hear important messages like what we've talked about, and, the importance of knowing who you are, and not being compulsed to have your identity linked to your job or
Mm.
to any external expression of who you are. If you can, worry about who you're being, and
Yes.
right,
And
and
what are you doing?
yeah, so yeah, but you and I could talk all day, and each time we
We
see each
can.
other,
We
we
can.
do. So I'd just love to thank you for being today. And one of the things I keep coming back to in this conversation is permission.
Mm.
Permission to stop over explaining, permission to stop adapting so hard, permission to trust what your body and energy have been telling you for years.
That's right.
So, Karen, you bring such a grounded, ethical voice to conversations about identity and influence, not telling people who they are, but helping them recognize themselves. And that kind of clarity doesn't just change individuals, it changes how we live together,
That's right. It impacts
right?
generations.
It does. And it is so important for us to be not trying to be that giant tidal wave, right?
That's
It
right.
is. Let us be the subtle ripple that creates a change, and it just goes through, because the trajectory of a small change is huge in a big life.
Yeah, it is. It really is. So, and don't for 1 minute think you have to do something grand. You have to want. No, the minute you settle within yourself, that peace is going to change lives, your lives and the people around you. That's all it is. No one has to do great things like my husband. No,
Yeah,
he's happy, status
yeah,
quo. Bless,
yeah.
bless him. And he's content.
Yes, but
And peace, I think, is contentment. And we are not looking for contentment, then we stop wanting someone else's country. We stop
yeah,
wanting someone else's oil. We're just
yeah,
content.
that's right. Well, in philosophy, contentment is the space between all of this sort of active action, right?
Mm,
So if we can have that contentment, if we can pause for that millisecond or that big moment of contentment and just bask in it, the feeling of contentment is beautiful.
yes, it is.
I know that there are people in this world who've never felt contentment or right against it, but it is a beautiful feeling to know that in your realm you're comfortable and you're safe,
Yeah.
and you are supported and you're loved,
Mm,
and it's such a beautiful feeling. So thank you so much for coming on today. It has been a wonderful conversation, and it is so nice to be talking about something that's changed in your life that didn't come through major adversity. It came through a gradual getting to know you.
yes. Thank you for having me. I've always enjoyed talking to you though. So I'm glad that we are able to share our experiences with everyone, with your listeners. That would be so wonderful. So definitely reach out. They'll reach out to us
Yes,
and tell us.
absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, so as you listen, notice what doesn't feel exciting but feels familiar. That's often where truth has been waiting patiently. All right. Well, everybody take care. We'll see you next week. And thank you again, Karen, for being the legend that you are.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
This has been Suddenly Different. I'm Leigh-Anne Sharland, and I'm so grateful you shared your time with me. If you felt a spark, a tear, or a moment of recognition, I hope you'll pass that gift along by sharing this show. Take a deep breath, trust your path, and I'll meet you back here soon.